Hey everyone, I of course hope you're doing well through these complicated times, pandemic and otherwise, that you're safe and optimistic through it all, however involved you may be. Now, May kind of recently ended, a little over 2 weeks ago, but better late than never. Time to talk a little bit about what I got over the month. First, actually, a comic that I ordered to arrive in late April, but wound up a little bit later than I expected. Invader Zim Quarterly, Zim's Greatest Plan. The newest longer issue release from Oni Press, written by Sam Logan, illustrated by Fred C. Streising. To try to come up with his ultimate plans and actually undergoes sensory deprivation for a long time, but when he comes out of it, he finds some strange changes have occurred in the world around him. I actually hadn't been keeping up to date on when these would come out. I believe this is actually a couple months late for me, but still happy to have it, even with it not quite arriving in great condition. Still nice to include in that goofy series. Over to new Criterion releases. There is the Blu-ray of Trances, directed by Ahmed El-Manoni, released in 1981. It's an interesting documentary looking at the Moroccan band Nass El Ghiwane. Another one of the movies that from Criterion that I've been interested in since its inclusion in a box set. I've kind of been curious about, but happy that it has its own release. Sounds like a really interesting look at a culture that doesn't get a lot of film presence overall. So that's cool. And then another two new releases from the following week after Trances. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, directed by Amy Heckerling, released in 1982. Of course, the classic teen comedy based on screenwriter Cameron Crowe's undercover high school research. Takes a funny look at high school students' lives in and out of the classroom, work, relationships, and so on. Also another movie that I've probably only seen bits and pieces of before getting this, so happy to finally check it out in full. And then 1932's Merrily We Go to Hell, directed by Dorothy Arzner. This relationship story about a struggling married couple who, in a very odd bit of curiosity, wonder about pursuing an open relationship. So both for its time and otherwise, that's quite a daring subject to explore. So definitely interesting to check out. Another thing I was a couple or more months late in getting my hands on. The Empire Strikes Back from a certain point of view. 40 stories celebrating 40 years of the movie. I hadn't been keeping up to date on this release like I had with the one for the original Star Wars, so I didn't know they'd be continuing through the series like this. I believe it came out in last November, something like that. Obviously it came out in 1980, so 2020 was when this came out, to be timely. But still happy to get it, not too long after the fact. Of course, 40 authors, so there are a couple whose names caught my eye. Hank Green, Daniel Jose Older, Amy Ratcliffe. Between the writers and various subjects that can be explored, say there's almost something in here for everybody if you like Star Wars. And now, thanks to knowing about this, I'll pay closer attention as 2023 approaches for the likely Return of the Jedi collection. Over to non-Criterion home media releases. There is Disney's new movie, Raya and the Last Dragon. This fantasy adventure taking place in the world of Kumandra. A long time after a great evil was vanquished by the dragons who defended the world. And now a young adventurer finds the last dragon and hopes to team up to take down another threat against the divided population and the challenges they face. I've heard some pretty valid criticisms about this, like it has a lot of parallels with Avatar: The Last Airbender. Some of the voice acting representation is a little off, but still sounds like a very fun time, very culturally significant in a way when it comes to a movie like this. So, happy to have it. Few cool toys that I got. There is Airazor from the Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom line. The classic Maximal Fighter from the classic from the original Beast Wars show, which turns into a Falcon. Still keeping the trend going of a more show-accurate robot mode with a more real-world accurate beast mode. Cool character, cool bird. Nice to have a modern take on her. And then the next fossilizer figure, the Predacon Rectonite. Turns into a Styracosaurus skeleton. It can also be disassembled into weapons and gear and stuff for other compatible figures. Still really enjoying this aesthetic. DVD, I was quite lucky to find it retail. Only one store in my area seemed to have it. Infinity Train Book 2. The next 10 episode, about 100-minute installment of Cartoon Network's kind of an anthology science fantasy kind of series. Now finding a young boy aboard this mysterious otherworldly train, hoping to, of course, find his way off of it with the help of a mirror world version of the girl from the first book, while also running from authorities based in her unique train car world. Series still gets a lot of acclaim, and books 3 and 4 are on HBO Max. Of course, they're available to watch on there, but I wouldn't say no to DVD releases of those sometime in the near future. And over to the comics I collected late in the month. From Boombox, there is Lumberjanes Volume 18, Horticulture Horizons, collecting issues 69 to 72. Written by Shannon Waters and Kat Lay, illustrated by Kanesha C. Bryant and Julia Madrigal. Highlighting adventures with things such as attacking vines and teaming up with an old friend of the camp director. Pretty cool stuff. From IDW, the next issues of the new Transformers ongoing continuity with 29, written by Brian Ruckley, art by Anna Malkova, as concerns around the legendary Titans grow more serious, both in orbit around Cybertron and within the Sacred Pyramid complex. And I did say issues because there was also number 30. There's the title. Of course, written by Brian Ruckley, again with art by Anna Malkova. Main concern, seeing Optimus Prime hoping to desperately negotiate with Megatron in the wake of recent attacks. Then issue 3 of the 5-issue Transformers Escape miniseries, written by Brian Ruckley, with art by Beth McGuire-Smith. The Autobot team makes their way to Darkmount to get their evacuation plan going, while the Insecticons' schemes gain strength with the help of the mind-controlled Skystalker. Issue 4 of the Transformers Beast Wars new ongoing series, written by Eric Burnham, art by Josh Burcham. Seeing Nick's escape from Predacon captivity and finding unexpected help from Dinobot along the way. And finally, issue 2 of My Little Pony Transformers 2: The Magic of Cybertron. Now halfway through the 4-issue miniseries, continuing the trend of 2 10-page stories each. Stunt Flying, written by Ian Flynn and Priscilla Tramontano. Then One Trick Pony, written by Sam Maggs, art by Trish Forstner. First story featuring Starscream Seekers teaming up with Rainbow Dash and the Wonderbolts to free some Transformers from Sombra's control. Then Applejack finding herself in like a Wild West style showdown with Wild Wheel, Quick Strike, and Skids. Still some goofy, lighthearted fun. Make for a nice crossover. I believe that is everything from this month. So yeah, quite a bit of comics, some movies and TV, a short story collection, and a couple cool toys. Again, sorry this came quite late into the month. Not sure how this trend will keep going. Hopefully I can do it earlier once again, but no promises. And I got some ideas on what I'm expecting to buy throughout June, but again, there could be some surprises. So like I said at the beginning, hope you're doing well through all this, both being careful and looking ahead. So with that, I'll see you in hopefully early July, or at least somewhere mid through the month, to talk about the June purchases. See you later, folks.